Welcome, everyone, to our first webinar in our Data Standards 101 series. I'm Susan Bearden with Project Unicorn, and we are very excited to be hosting this webinar about the EdFi data standards today. As we're having folks enter in the room, please go ahead and enter your name and where you're joining us from in the chat. I'm joining us from Florida. Wonderful. Great to see everyone. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So just a brief overview of what we'll be talking about today. We're just going to do a couple of introductory slides, letting folks know about what's happening with Project Unicorn, and then we will introduce our speaker from the EdFi Alliance, and she's going to tell us all about the EdFi data standards and how you might be able to leverage them in your ecosystem. So without further ado, just wanted to let you know, if you are not already on the Project Unicorn mailing list, please go to our webpage, projectunicorn.org. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see a place where you can sign up for the Project Unicorn newsletter. So please feel free to add your email address. We promise we will not spam you. However, this will allow you to keep informed about upcoming webinars, new publications that are released, and also upcoming conference presentations and boot camps at conferences and other events. Also, just want to make sure everybody is aware of our resource library. If you go to the URL listed below, you'll see we have a lot of resources related to data and interoperability. You can do a keyword search by either school/district if you are school-based personnel, or if you are a vendor, you can also do a search for vendor and see what resources we have available to support you in your interoperability journey. And also would encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. All of our webinars, including this one, are archived and are posted to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't visited lately, take a look. We've got a lot of great webinars on a whole variety of different topics for both districts, state leaders, and vendors. And so please take a look at our webinar channel. Also, to let you know, as I mentioned, this is the kickoff webinar in our Data Standards 101 series. Today, we're starting with the EdFi Alliance, and this Thursday, we'll have another webinar with featuring the One EdTech data standards. So feel free to register. We'd love to have you join us for any or all of these webinars. And so now I'm going to turn things over to Kathleen Browning. She's a Customer Success Manager at the EdFi Alliance. Kathleen, take it away.
Thank you, Susan. Again, I'm Kathleen Browning with the Customer Success Team at the EdFi Alliance. I have two other fellow EdFi partners online with me. We have Nate Gandomi and Michelle Farrell. And so they will help us with questions at the end if you have some. And let me continue. Again, my name is Kathleen Browning, and you can reach me at edfi.org if you need to reach out to us. When we go to conferences and speak out at seminars, we ask this question: what are your current student challenges? We typically ask this question to a large audience, and we have a screen up on the screen, the question up on the screen, and we get answers live. And I'd like to ask you the same question. What are some of your challenges you see in your ecosystem? Most of the many common questions we see or answers we see, our data is siloed in third-party vendors. Because it's siloed, we have problem accessing the data. Once the data is in their own ecosystem, it tends to be inaccurate, outdated, and incomplete. It's very slow to get data real time. It's too complex to understand, and it's restrictive. And I wonder if you had some of those same responses to the question yourself. This is an illustration of the education space we see out in the industry. You have yourself and your environment in the middle, and you have third-party vendors out in your ecosystem. Many of them are out on the cloud. They may be hosted in your ecosystem, as well as you may be connected to their system electronically. Asking them to send data to you can be very cumbersome. Most of the time, the data comes in a CSV file, sometimes in spreadsheets that may be tabular spreadsheets, and those can be very complicated to get that data loaded into your system. So I want to introduce you to the word data interoperability, a seamless, secure, and controlled exchange of data between two applications. Think about your ecosystem and how you could have a secure and seamless interchange with your third-party vendors. Intimidated by the word interoperability? Don't be. Today, I hope you learn about the EDFI data standards and the API that stands behind it, and how data interoperability can empower you in your ecosystem. Come along with me as we do understanding on our basic understanding of the EDFI data standards, and hope that you can leverage the data standards in your ecosystem. So I'm going to take the same chart that you saw before and put the EDFI data standards and the EDFI operational data store, also known as the ODS, right in the middle. Think about collecting data from all your third-party vendors electronically in real time. How do we do that? On the left-hand side of the diagram, you see some third-party vendors all connected to the operational data store. They're connected using the EDFI data standard and the API. This allows them to send data real-time from their system through the API into the operational data store. API stands for Application Programming Interface. This allows you to send data transactionally, real-time, back and forth between two parties. Now, once you've got your data in your operational data store, you might ask, what do we do next? How do we access it? So you can use the same EDFI data standard and API to extract data out of your operational data store. In this example would be to use data visualization right on top of your ODS. So your third-party vendors use the exact same standards to push data in as your internal department or even third-party vendors use to pull data out. We also see this same diagram with other environments where they push data down to a data warehouse, out of the operational data store, or even to a data lake. So there's a lot of options of putting data in and pulling data out of the operational data store. One other feature you can do is add validation tools on top of your operational data store and validate that data, then send the errors back to your third-party vendor and have them correct any errors or missing data. And then they can immediately make the corrections in their system and push the corrections in through the operational data store, in through the API, into your operational data store. So there's a lot of flexibility in using the EDFI data standards. Leveraging data interoperability will give you a full and complete picture of your students, will allow you to move data between systems securely and seamlessly using the EDFI API. It empowers you to control your data, not a third-party vendor. Now you have the data at your fingertips in your local environment. It also allows you to choose some of the best instructional tools on the market so that you can meet your district or your state goals. What do you get with EDFI? You get an EDFI data standard and a foundational data model. You get the operational data store, which is a database. You get the API that implements the EDFI data standard, and you get ongoing enhancements from the community, as well as EDFI. One other item I would like to point out is you see down here at the bottom, it says that is 0 fees. There is no fees to your industry, to your environment, or your management team if you're interested in investing in the EDFI data source. The source is a free open sourced code base, so there's no monthly or yearly fees or renewal fees. When your school achieves data interoperability, you can solve other challenges more effectively. When we talk to districts and states, there are huge challenges that you are challenged with. And these are just to name a few, 5 examples that you could solve by using the operational data store. You can ensure equitable access to your students, engage in online learners, address chronic absenteeism, strengthen family engagement, and harness multiple measures of assessments. And all of this at the power of your fingertips, sitting on top of your operational data store. But what does this mean to you? It means transparency into your students' learning. It means real or near real time to insight from multiple measures of data, understanding individual and aggregated metrics, flexible, scalable, and responsive data structures, data architecture. And again, you get to select the tools that best meet your needs. How does the EdFi data standard work? So you have a data system. Your data system may be housed locally in your environment. It may be out on the cloud. It may even be being managed from a managed service provider, but it's still your data system. So you introduce the EdFi operational data store into your data system. And in doing that, that opens the door for all of your third-party vendors to have the opportunity to send their data in through the EdFi data standards, excuse me, and using the API. For example, if we use a student information system, you might be able to collect student demographic data, grades, behavior, intervention data, program data, special education data. There's a lot of data in a student information system that could be sent in using the EdFi data standards, as well as assessment data. You could collect data from a state assessment, local assessments, a college and career readiness assessment, such as ACT and SAT, all by allowing them to send data through the EdFi data standards and the API. In addition, like I talked about earlier, you can have a visualization set on top of your ODS for validation and visualization. So this picture gives you an example of additional resources of data that can come through the API. This is not the only or restricted list. There's a lot more lists of resources available to you, but I thought this was a good picture to get my point across. You can have LMS data, content management data, transportation data, special ed data, food services, and the list goes on and on. But what's real important about this picture is you notice that the arrows go both directions, both in and out of the operational data store. So based on the security level that you establish with each of your third-party vendors, you can allow them to send data in based on their security level, and you can allow them to pull data out based on their security level. So the EdFi data standards and the API do allow data to go transactionally both directions, depending on your security level. Data visualization. I want to talk about how important it is for data visualization. We have a quote from Brianna Porter, a developer at Achievement First. She said, the EdFi allows us to get all of our data in one place so that we can get the full picture. Benefits from data visualization on top of your ODS allows you to see your students in real time, allows the data to be in one place in a separate and not in a separate third-party entity or in spreadsheets. You get a more complex, holistic view of your student. And you can also run metrics on top of your operational data store so that you can set flags and see trends of students as their behavior is trending up or down. Some pain points we hear from districts is they have a lot of data, but unfortunately, it doesn't tell them much. It's incomplete. So having an operational data store allows you to collect data from all your third-party vendors transactionally, real time, so that you can see and respond to those trends immediately while you still have the students in your presence. This is an example of a third-party vendor's dashboard of a student level of data. And I wanted to show you having data at your fingertips allows you to build your own visualization. You can build it yourself or hire a third-party vendor to generate metrics. The data in your operational data store comes in at a very granular level, at the student's granular level. That gives you the ability to see student data in detail. And this example shows student demographic data, student sections, as well as student attendance. And they can watch the students' attendance trending up or down, or grades that are coming in based on progress grades or grading period grades to see how the students are doing. As well, this is another additional student level metric that is driven off of assessments. These are 4 different assessments over time for one student, and they can see how the student has progressed in each of the learning standards that were asked for this assessment. This happens to be a math assessment over several months of time. Another pain point that we have from districts is that they send their data to the state for state reporting, but by the time they get their reports back from state, the students have already left the school for the end of the school year. They've already left your school grade, they may have left your campus, as well as they may have left your district. So having an operational data store that is powered by the EdFi data standard and the API, again, allows your data, your third-party vendors to send your data real time. Now, I talked a minute ago about your data coming into your operational data store is granular. It's at the student level. That gives you the ability to aggregate all of your student data up to a school level so that you can see the performance of each of your schools in your district. This particular view is of a school of the early learning metrics. It shows the number of students in green are those students who have no early learning indicators, early warning indicators, excuse me. The ones in yellow show the students who have one early warning indicator, giving you the opportunity to go and take action and try to move those students back into the green. The students in the red are those students who have 2 or more early warning indicators. Notice at the bottom of the screen, we have a list. This particular view allows the school district to pinpoint those students that are at risk so they can immediately take action with those students and help bring them back into the green zone. This particular school wanted to have, over on the left, wanted to have their enrollment count. They also include their average daily attendance so that they could see how their attendance changes day by day, as well as average English grade and average math grade. They felt those were important to keep up. So once you have school metrics and metrics, you can then create district metrics. You sum all of your school metrics up and generate district metrics. And so this is another view of a district, and it shows their student performance levels in the middle and student star math scores on the right. And the graph on the right shows the ratings per school. So as a district level, they can see how each school is performing. So again, having an operational data store powered by your EdFi data standard and the API allows you to generate metrics at the student level, aggregate to the school level, and as well as aggregating up to a district level. All at the fingertips. So how do you start your EdFi journey? Let me introduce you to our EdFi customer success team. Gentleman on the left is Mike Menudo, who is our customer success manager. Myself in the middle, Kathleen Browning, and my peer, Nate Gondomi. We are all here to help your EdFi journey become a success. I'd like to talk to you about our technical help desk, some academy training, as well as our community resource and engagement tools. So I'd like to start with our EdFi Academy. We started creating videos and documentation videos about a year ago, listening to our audience. And so we started with the top 4, and I'm going to actually mention all 5, the top 5, because I think they're great starter points. So the first one, Course 101, is the introduction to EdFi. It will give you a quite in-depth learning opportunity to learn all about EdFi in the community and how EdFi can move your industry forward. Course 102 is an introductory to the EdFi technology suite. It's focused for your IT department to help them learn and understand the EdFi technology. The third one is the introduction to the vendor engagement. This helps you learn to talk to your third-party vendors, to educate them about the EdFi data standards, the API, as well as getting certified with the EdFi Alliance. The fourth one is the introduction to the data management. This helps your management team understand their roles and responsibilities in the EdFi application and introducing EdFi into your environment. An EdFi experience is not just a IT department job. It is a combination of your management team, your IT team, and your dashboard team or your visualization team. So with the 3 teams together, the last video I want to talk about is video 131, which is the implementation to your capability framework. This particular video helps you understand your roles and responsibilities of each of your departments, management department, IT department, and your visualization department. It helps you understand the responsibilities and duties you need to do at the start of the journey, in the middle of your journey, when you go to production, and as well how you continue and grow your EdFi journey. It's a great video. So those first 4 or 5 videos tend to be about 4 hours long. They do take some commitment, but there's some great information in each of them. You can stop and start the videos, come back to them when you have a good window of learning. We also are starting to put out some shorter videos that are somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes. And I want to speak to the last 2 videos on this screen. Those are both very short videos. They are tailored toward your IT department. 3501 is to select your EdFi platform mode. This helps your technical team choose the appropriate platform to use in your environment. If you happen to be on the cloud and you're on a Google Cloud, then we have a video on how to deploy out to a Google Cloud. We are working on a deployment to go out to Azure Cloud. It will be coming out shortly. There are a lot more videos out on our website than I have listed here, and more videos come monthly. So please check out the videos. In addition to the EdFi Academy, we also have our technical support help desk. We have skilled developers that are waiting to help you if you have questions or you're stuck and you need assistance. You open a tracker ticket at tracker.edfi.org, and your ticket is assigned to a help desk agent. They will communicate with you via email and start your conversation, learning about your needs, what your questions are, or where they can help you. They'll set up phone calls and do screen sharing and use any other tool available to help them get you over your hurdles. So don't forget about our help desk team. Coming out this year in 2023 is our brand new EdFi Community Hub. It is a single sign-on, user-aware landing page with persona-relevant content and notifications. It unifies discussion forums for the community for support and engagement. You'll also be able to do global searches for knowledge-based articles, as well as access the Tech Docs articles. We're going to integrate our help desk and our EdFi Academy courses into this tool as well. We're putting this tool out in stages this year, so watch for that as the coming year progresses. Oops, I'm sorry, I went one too far. Learning EdFi is easier than you think. Everything you need to know to get up and running is at your fingertips. We have step-by-step guidance. Log on anytime, anywhere, learn at your own pace. But by all means, connect with your EdFi community. We have a wonderful community out there that is already in their EdFi journey, implementing and in production and moving forward and growing in the EdFi space. They're a great audience to help you learn and move your journey forward. So next steps for data interoperability would be to decide, is data interoperability right for your agency? If so, decide to choose a use case. We recommend one use case for your first introduction into EdFi. Focus on a high priority use case that impacts your agency and get a buddy. What do I mean by get a buddy? Find another agency like yours that is implementing EdFi and use them as part of your learning tool. Collaborate with them, learn from their experiences. Connect with us at EdFi at www.edfi.org and create your account. Once you start your EdFi account, you open your EdFi account, you'll start receiving our newsletters monthly, which will tell you all about what's up and coming in new releases of our operational data store, what seminars are coming, as well as conferences. Start with your EdFi Academy 101 course, Introduction to EdFi. Log on to your EdFi Tech Docs, where your IT department can explore a lot of the technical resources we have at techdocs.edfi.org. While you're in the Tech Docs, check out our starter kits. The starter kits were written to help give you a use case that might meet your criteria. These starter kits do come with visualization. If the starter kit is on the topic that you're interested in, but you're not interested in the visualization that came with the starter kit, then build your own. At least you will have the UI code and the code to establish the business logic from the starter kit, and you can tailor your own visualization on top of your operational data store. When you get stuck, open an EdFi tracker, reach out to the help desk, and also connect with us and your EdFi community on Slack, as well as our new EdFi community hub that will be coming out this year. And last but not least, please attend an EdFi summit. It's a great way for you to get started, learn about your community, make connections, and find out what is coming in the EdFi space. The EdFi Alliance is here to ensure that your state, your district, or your collaborative can make your student data more accurate, secure, and usable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We've added a lot of the links in the chat. Oh, and great. We have a question. Thank you, Chloe. From Sarah. The question is, does EdFi operate only from within the U.S. jurisdiction?
So today we are in the United States. We do have one third-party vendor who has become EdFi certified that's in Canada. I don't know that they have any business in the United States yet, but they did get certified and they are planning on joining the EdFi in the United States. But right now, all of our production vested interest parties are in the United States.
Thank you. And actually, that it brings up a great question. How can we find out about vendors who are certified with EdFi?
All right. And you go online to edfi.org and you can look online. We have all of our listed third-party student information systems. There's a few assessment vendors, as well as managed service providers who are all certified or have badges.
Excellent, thank you. And we have another question from Phil. Is there anticipated capacity to integrate my chat got bumped down. Is there anticipated capacity to integrate non-LEA, non-service provider access or EdFi certification?
At this time, I'm not aware of any action going in that direction, but I can take your question and get more information and get back to you on that.
Great. And then we have another question from Tim. What SIS systems do you integrate with?
There's quite a few out on the website, and I could name a few, but I don't want to leave anyone out. So please go there. Nate Gondomi did add the link to the certification list, and there is a great number of list of them there. And I don't want to point any one specific one out, and so that way, therefore, I'll just let you go look.
Okay, and I think Phil added some additional context to his question about the integrating the non-LEA, non-service provider access.
Okay, thank you for clarifying your question. We do have state access. State agencies are using EdFi, as well as we do have regional service centers. I have my counterpart, Michelle, on the line as well, and she'll be able to give us a couple examples of state regional service centers. I do know that Texas is doing that because I live here in Texas, and so I know they're actively engaged in activity.
Great, thank you. And we have another question from Tim. How do you work with the district on security agreements for the data?
Security agreements in between the third-party vendor and your LEA? Is that what we're asking?
I'm not sure. Tim, can you provide a little bit more context? Yes, he said.
Okay, so I would say to start with the 103 video, that is the engagement with your vendors, and run through that video. It has some great suggestions on agreements. And if there's not enough information, reach out to us through the EdFi help desk, and we'll get those answers for you.
Thank you.
And I want to jump back in. Michelle, did you have an answer, or were you able to supply some information on ESCs?
Yeah,
Education Service Centers.
I apologize. I've had a cold recently, so my voice is a little bit off. But we work with a variety of, they're called ESCs in some areas, or BOCES or LEAs. But we have local groups in Florida that have actually gone the nonprofit route and started their own from the ground up organization, or we have, we call them collaboratives, a group in Colorado that has rural districts that have joined together to form an organization that works on the EdFi standard together. As Kathleen mentioned, we work with the state of Texas that's forming a collaborative, all of their districts that are going to be working on the EdFi standard. We also have San Diego in California is working with now Santa Clara and some regions there. So it really does look different based on where you are. If you'd like, we can send you some more information based on your specific regional area, just because it is different based on where you're at.
Thank you, Michelle.
And we have one final question from Mike. Mike says, I'm looking for some vendor certification information. Where can I find that? And I'm assuming that's information about how to become certified.
So if you're looking on how to become certified, there is documentation out on the EdFi Tech Docs community on the steps that you would use to do to become certified. If you have trouble locating that, let me know, and I will get you that link.
Wonderful. Oh, go ahead, Kathleen.
I was going to say, it looks like Chloe has already put out a link out there for everyone.
Thank you, Chloe. Wonderful. And oh, great. Nathan says we'll be creating an academy course on how to get certified in the next 3 to 4 months. Terrific. Sounds like that's something that'll be a great value to the field, Nathan. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your thoughtful questions. Oh, one more question from Mike. Is there a vendor newsletter?
I'm not aware of a vendor newsletter, but let me find out. I don't want to say yes or no, so I'll find out on that one. We do have a newsletter that comes out monthly from the EdFi Alliance.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for your thoughtful questions. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for all of this tremendous information. We really appreciate you joining us today. Just want to remind everybody that if you have more general questions on interoperability, Project Unicorn is here to help. And if you are interested in learning more, first, we would recommend that you sign the Project Unicorn School Network Pledge. The pledge basically indicates your school system's commitment to implementing data interoperability and protecting the privacy of student data. You can see the QR code on your screen, or there's if you just go to our Project Unicorn website, you can easily find the pledge from navigating on the menus. Next, would definitely recommend that you set up a free technical assistance call with the Unicorn team. Again, you can see our QR code here on the screen. All of our technical assistance calls are free. And Chloe and I like to say, if we don't know the answer, we know people who do. So we often refer folks to other standards bodies or to other organizations for additional help and support. And again, all of our technical assistance is free. So please feel free to set up an appointment with us. One of the things we enjoy most is speaking with both school systems and vendors on how we can support your data interoperability journey. And then just would love for all the school systems out there and educational service agencies to take the 2023 School System Data Survey. The survey is now live, and it is the only national survey of school system data capabilities in the United States. And last year, we had 187 LEAs and education service agencies participate. And if you participate in the survey, you will get you'll immediately get a copy of your responses back. You'll also get a customized report that will compare your responses to kind of the overall average of the survey responses, so you can kind of see where you stand compared to other school systems across the country. And we will give you a free technical assistance call where we'll go over your report with you and help you identify resources that can help you move forward on your data journey. And then also a $25 Amazon gift card. So please be sure to take the school system data survey. It just launched. You can use the QR code on your screen or go to projectunicorn.org/SSDS. And just to remind everyone, our next webinar is this Thursday, March 14th at 1 o'clock with our colleagues from One Ed Tech. So that's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So please join us for another terrific introduction to the One Ed Tech data standards. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Team EdFi, for providing this fabulous introduction to the EdFi data standards. We really appreciate it. Thank you to all of our attendees today, and we look forward to seeing you on a future Project Unicorn webinar.
Thank you, Susan.